On the Roper Report, Starfield Shattered Space gets a new deep dive video. We're going to read Wesley Yin Pool's report from IGN.com. We'll show it as you watch if you're a watcher. And then the super chat question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your hype level for Shattered Space and why? Bethesda has revealed a deep dive into Starfield expansion Shattered Space, offering a first meaningful look at gameplay. The video shows off Varun, the new planet Starfield players get to explore in Shattered Space. Bethesda describes Varun as an, quote, isolated, handcrafted new world in Starfield's first major story expansion, and compares it to some of the biggest and best expansions it has released for its Elder Scrolls and Fallout games. The handcrafted note in particular feels deliberate. Starfield was criticized by some for leaving the handcrafted feel of Bethesda Game Studios' previous titles behind in favor of a galaxy-spanning adventure filled with over 1,000 planets, most of which were fueled by procedural generation. Shattered Space, on the other hand, revolves around a solitary planet, and the deep dive video Bethesda developers stressed that the entirety of the expansion takes place on it. There is no need to leave at all. Quote, when we first started thinking about what this experience would be like, we knew we wanted it to feel like a traditional Bethesda Game Studios expansion. Having the planet laid out so intentionally works Having the planet laid out so intentionally works perfectly with this isolationist society. Everything they've done since establishing themselves will be right here on Varunkai, which I didn't want to bring up earlier. The planet's Varunkai. Its House Varun is the like faction settlement religion, but I don't want to get in his face. Wesley Yin Pool at IGN. Can you trust the Ghostbusters review? I'm just saying. The whole planet tells the story of these people who have never left their home and want it to remain a secret, said lead producer Joe Mueller. Bethesda also talked up Shattered Space's more chaotic, aggressive, in-your-face combat in contrast to the distance shooting of the base game. Expect ambushes from odd creatures that pop up through rifts in space-time. Story-wise, you end up caught up in a political feud between the planet's various pockets of power and ultimately decide the fate of House Varun.
Sounds cool.
Does sound cool. Yeah. I'm more interested than anything in you. Mm-hmm. Last week we talked about this where you're like, should I jump into it? You hear this, what does it do for you as somebody who did not like Starfield?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the 9-minute deep dive video as well, and this all speaks to me. Like, there are things that I liked about Starfield, but one of the main things that I didn't like was how clunky it was jumping from planet to planet, and like the procedural generation of it, and how like a lot of
the rural juror,
how like a lot of it felt unworthwhile just to explore. And, I didn't feel like I could get lost as easily and as seamlessly as I could in previous Bethesda games.
Sure.
The idea that this DLC is taking place narratively on one expansive planet.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome. And then as I watch the video, I'm like, I like a lot of what I'm seeing visually, and that's one of the things I like about Starfield is I do like how the game looks and like the direction it takes in art style. Even
not the graphical direction.
Oh yeah, art style greater than graphics. Know what I mean? But yeah, I think so much of the game is good looking, from like a lot of the industrial design to like how, I don't know, just how shit looks. I like it. So yeah, I think a lot of this has me excited. But you also watched the video. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I love Starfield. As I've said, it was my game of the year last year, despite all of its many, many flaws. So I've been excited for an expansion, period. Then to be here and see what they've been building, even with the Gamescom previews that came out where people were like, oh, it feels like survival horror, there's Prey vibes to it, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that sounds great. Then to get into this, like, I'm with you. It feels like a huge selling point for me is, hey, you're coming to this planet and you can leave anytime you want to, but the entirety of the expansion takes place on this planet. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
To drop 10, 20 hours, whatever it's going to be for the expansion and side missions and all that shit, right? Into it and run around and learn it and do this stuff. And like, as they went through and talked about what's happening on the planet, right? That they were experimenting with grav drive technology. Something went wrong. We see the crazy camp. We see this, the elders or whatever are in this tower that's surrounded by a field that got blown up and all that. Like, there's clearly exactly what they're driving that I do love for my Bethesda games of, hey, this is handcrafted. Like, yes, I want there to be districts. I want there to be they showed earlier in the video the emergency setup, right? Like, since they said in the video you arrive weeks after the experiment gone wrong, and then you see people like still looking for family members. There's still like this whole thing. Like, that sounds fucking really cool to be there and be like, okay, cool. Like, what has happened here. There's been a disaster. You're trying to get to the heart of it. That base level really gets me going. Right. The survival horror nature of it is interesting. What they showed with the combat being closer and these creatures that are jumping out of the rifts and looking like monsters in Prey again sounds awesome. Everything they're saying is rad about it, but to get to the heart of it in general, I'm just excited for more Starfield, and I'm excited for more Starfield that feels designed for me. Not only in the way that this world sounds great, but my love of Starfield comes from it being the only RPG I've ever really role-played in.
This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know I've been outside a lot in the sun playing some Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing my Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. You can try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. This episode is brought to you by Hims. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we'll always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims has treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing access to affordable sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. No insurance is needed. Pay one low price for your treatments, online visits, ongoing shipments, and provider messaging. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/kindafunny. That's HIMS.com/kindafunny for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/kindafunny. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products, which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions, details, and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
I understand that I'm having like the golden path perfect moment of this game feels designed for me in a lot of ways, right? Where Starfield's a weird one where do we want to spoil the ending of Starfield? I feel like at this point
like you can.
You know it already.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are on the end of it. And I also don't think spoiling it ruins everything. I want to show 2 screenshots from this weekend. I am playing Starfield. There will be references here. I don't need to go into it. People are saying it's been a year, right? So I should be good, right? You know what I mean? Jesus in the chat says I'll let you know when he's done spoiling. So I am obsessed with Starfield.
Yeah.
Period. I had to stop playing it to move on to other games and do other reviews and yada, yada, yada. But I've come back for the frames and I was like, that's great. Came back to try out the car. And then it's been the whole thing of like, I need my save to be in the perfect position for when Shattered Space comes. If you don't know what that means, I'm not going to go into the super spoilers. You could go watch my one-man spoiler cast on the Games Cast from last year, right? However, I've been chipping away at that. Again, like, I have other things to review, but I'm like, I'll play a little bit tonight. I'm in a bad mood. I want to play this. And so I've been doing that, which means for me, finishing the story again, and then also getting my romance option where I want it with Andraja. And so, again, I turned this game on, and this past week, I say I've been tinkering at night with it and all these things. And again, I understand why Starfield is not a great game for so many people. And I understand, and I think playing it a year later, jumping back into it after everything we've played, everything we've seen, what's coming out the rest of this year, and jumping back in it often I'm like, woof.
Yeah.
This guy's talking, like the thing where I walk in a room and the dude stands up and like, da-da-da, and I'm behind him, but he's talking over his shoulder. Or I think like character models like Sam Coe just don't look good. You know what I mean? There's all these things, and again, they've made it even easier to fast travel since you played, like in terms of jumping around. So when people are like, all you do is fast travel, I'm like, well, yeah, but it's also like the way they designed this game, I'd rather do that than run to my ship every time. But whatever, blah, blah. I totally am like, I feel the seams are even more visible. And so I was doing a mission, sideline mission. I was like, oh man, I don't really vibe with this. I'm going to get going and I'm going to try to, roll credits in quotes to get my save where I want it to be. I went off and again, the way you're playing on New Game Plus, and this is New Game Plus 5 for me, but the first one where I've redone the entire story, the changes in dialogue that come up are so impressive to me and what the story is trying to do. And again, these are the 2 screens I would show you for New Game Plus, right? That, again, if you want to know nothing about it, that's fine. I understand. But for me, would be spoilers. So can you show the first one, Barrett? So can you hide us to show that or whatever here? You have the emissary saying to my character, right, you're starborn. More than that, you're reliving your old life, which is almost to me. And again, this is the design of the game and what they did. They made a video game. But my connection to Starfield is so personal that when the emissary said that to me, it felt like what we're talking about with AI. Where I'm like, fuck, exactly. And then can you show the next one, Barrett?
It's really weird, like knowing your whole like one-man spoiler cast of like your whole purpose of replaying this game over and over again. Like,
and then for when you to respond to the question to the emissary, right? I had my regrets in my last universe. I wanted to make up for them.
Oh my God.
Which is the whole fucking reason I'm on New Game Plus 5 running this thing. It's like I always talk about of like, I'm one thing going wrong in the game from being the supervillain who's like, fuck it, I'm doing it again, roll it again. We're doing the and it's like and you can take it down now. The fact that, and that would be, I think, as far as I want to go into spoilers. So if you want to tell people not to, whatever. If they can come back, I won't go into spoiler stuff. But like that level is like, fuck. Like that, again, like slack-jawed of like, for all the faults, all the stupid shit, the fact that the fucking menu still looks ugly as shit, the fact that the persuasion system.
Oh my
every
God.
time I forget about
the persuasion
every
system.
time I forget about the persuasion system, I send you a message about the persuasion system because it'll pop up and I'm like, this is so bad.
It's really
How
bad.
have they not
So
redone this? This is so bad.
It is
right?
the most mid game, one of the most mid games I've ever played. Star Wars Outlaws now being the most recent of mid games that I played. But like Starfield doing that, the shit we just talked about in your aspect of what you do to play Starfield is really cool. And there's some sauce there that is like really interesting to talk about. But then you remind me of the fucking persuasion system and all of the kind of same backwater planets that just look and feel the same.
Yeah. I mean, the same exact layouts and stuff. Yeah. We know, but anyway.
Shit.
So anyways, me feeling that way about it, my true love being Andreja, who's a former House of Varun person, right?
Yeah.
And her story is, again, I'm so lucky of like the cards falling of like, this feels like all this is designed for me, where it's like replaying the story, re-engaging with her, talking to her and having conversations where she talks about House of Varun and the Great Serpent and this, that, the other. And it's like, oh, wow, this is, again, setting me up so well for this DLC in a way that you could have played and never talked to her that way and never had that thing. So now I'm so excited not only to go into this, but bring her with me on it as my companion and see what happens there and and then have it be this world. Like, I am over the moon excited for this, knowing, of course, it's still Starfield.
Yeah.
I'm still very interested of like, so are these creatures going to be balanced? Because right now I just run into shotgun. Everybody's fucking dead. I'm fine. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, and I might be going in based on everything you just mentioned. I might be going in with the wrong expectation of they fixed a lot of the things already. Because like, I don't know. I always have the hope that like, or not even the hope, the expectation that Bethesda saw the feedback and like slowly they're probably updating and doing all these things. So it sounds like they've already done a lot of that already. But I think I was expected to go into it thinking like it might be a different game because I've not picked it up since.
Yeah, it's not Cyberpunk 2.0 or whatever.
Yeah.
But there yet. And I think they will continue to add that. And CP says, I like the persuasion. You're a psychopath. Hey, give me the thing. I don't want to give you the thing. But if you gave me the thing, it'd be easier. But if you gave me, you're right, it would be easier if I gave me the thing. But I just need to give me the thing. But I don't want to give. What the fuck is going on? It's nonsense.
Like, please give me the thing. That's a good point. I'll give it to you. I'm like,
I guess you make a good point. I should give you the thing.
This is the end of the game. This is a big final decision. And all I had to say was please. Like, what the fuck?
I'll be interested to see what you think of it. Because again, and I don't know. I'm interested to see what this is going to be because I feel like I'm excited to get to this planet and stay. Because that's what I wanted. I did when I first started to be like, wait a second, maybe I'm coming around and enjoying this more. It was a night where I just stayed on Aquila. I just stayed in Aquila City. I talked to random people. I picked up random ass side quests.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this feels good. I feel like I'm connected to this place rather than going ping pong, jump around.
My big thing is I think it taking place all in one place is making it feel like classic Bethesda RPG or classic Bethesda like mainline quest, which is all I want, right? Like I'm always down for one of those. The other thing I'm concerned with, because as you talked, I was like, fuck, am I even going to be able to play this? Because the last place I left my Starfield save, I was stuck in like a space combat sequence that I just couldn't get past, and I just didn't have any other saves for some reason. And so I got to figure that out.
Well, now you'd be fixed. Because,
really?
of course, like, remember they added in a plethora of, hey, play the game your way.
Yeah.
So you could come in, go settings, turn enemy difficulty all the way to easy,
Yes.
all this stuff, give yourself way more armor, do all this stuff. So,
Okay.
like, it would affect your XP, but, I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
level
fine
like
with-
shit in this game. Another complaint I have about this game, you level so slowly. Who cares? Like,
The only other thing is that I'm also currently playing a very long RPG.
yeah.
And so I'm curious on if I'm going to be able to find the time to play.
That's
Shattered
my thing, is
Space.
I feel like I have to look at the calendar again, but I feel like I'm going to clear the reviews I have this week. And then I'm just going to play Starfield until Shattered Space
Nice.
and be like, because there's a whole bunch of stuff I still want to do and get ready for. But I digress. This has been fun. Oh, we have super chats, I guess. Yeah.
Question, in case this isn't part of the super chats, for people who want to know on like how to get to Shattered Space, you being someone who's played through the game multiple times, is there like a specific thing, or is there like a specific point in the story you have to get to?
I have not seen confirmation from them, but since it's Bethesda and it's theirs, I imagine it's just going to be a quest that pops up that you can go do. It sounds completely side to the story. It does not sound like it's attached at all to it. I'll be interested with all the new game pluses I've done, if going there's any commentary about that, but we'll see.
Okay. And just to clarify for chatters who were upset earlier, I will definitively say that Starfield is objectively mid.
There you go.
Gerardo is cool super chat and said, if I haven't played the main story, can I just jump straight into Shattered Space? Yes, I do think so. I think you're all set there. And then Dean8149 says, does it feel weird to you that the spoiler part of Starfield are the most interesting parts, but they can't market it? Kind of a tough place to be for Bethesda. 100%. I think, I remember when we came in, I think to do the review, it was one of those rolled credits at night or whatever and rolled the next day, but maybe it was the day before or whatever. When I walked in, I remember bumping into Barrett in the parking lot and being like, he was like, oh, I finished it. And I was like, I finished it too, but I think it could be cool where they're going. And Barrett's like, I'm done.
I
I'm
can't do
not
this
playing
anymore.
another game.
Because, oh God.
No, you're
Again, the
totally
ending-
justified and correct.
Again, the idea is cool, and like that is such a fascinating like way to frame of like a video game in general. But
Yeah.
like we should have.
I will say I started the post game stuff and I was like, I'm still good. Like the idea is so cool to me.
And that
yeah.
I mean, like, well, that's a whole different diatribe to it, where
Yeah.
it was like when I did it and I didn't do the story again, I was like, whatever. And then you get roll them again, get it. Maybe this happens, maybe it doesn't, maybe this happens. Then running through the entire story again was where I was like, oh, still, it's the same thing, but there's plenty more choices that would be too spoilery, but I'll tell you about it later.